Okay, hey guys, this is a video response to Magus X1's thoughts on G4. G4, it's been kind of hit and miss for the past few years, maybe 3 or 4 years now. I don't really like it anymore. I used to watch it a ton when I was a little bit younger, but now it's just kind of unbearable to watch. Every single time I turn on the TV guide, look on the Comcast guide or whatever, all I see is cheaters and cops, like Magus said. They don't even really show game crap anymore. I mean, really, all I see is cheaters and cops until about 8 o'clock, and by then I'm usually on the computer or on Xbox. So I'll start out with the old G4 and Tech TV. My first experiences with Tech TV, I don't know. Maybe I was uh, 8 through 10, maybe. I can't really recall, but I just remember I used to turn it on, and there used to be this old game, like video game show. It was just like from maybe 70s or 80s, and I don't know. I just loved that show. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, that was just a great show. Tech TV was always really good. That's really the only show I remember from them. And I didn't, as a kid, since I was a little bit younger, I didn't really know when they merged or anything. I never really paid attention to that since it was still on the same channel. But later on, and I guess they are merged by now. My favorite shows, they had like things like Judgment Day, they had Arena, they had what else did they have? They had Duel for the anime at late at night. They had Read or Die. Obviously, they had X Play. They had some show, I can't remember what it was. It was with an Asian girl. Can't remember what it was called. They obviously had like the Attack of the Show, except then it was the screensavers, as Magus said, and they had X Play. I guess I'll start out with X Play. X Play, hate it now. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's good now that they're actually doing other things, like they have the hands-on stuff and they do the demos and go to different companies and blah 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 blah. But I don't know. I really liked X Play before because of its comedy and it's kind of its skits. They don't really do that anymore, or at least from the episodes I watch, which I don't really watch X Play anymore because of how I don't like it. Um, but yeah, I mean X Play, it's still good. I mean it's good that they branched out and did other things besides reviewing, but I don't know. I'm just not really a big fan of them anymore. Next, let's just talk with the shows that they took off. Judgment Day. Judgment Day was kind of like a, well, it was two guys. I can't remember their names. And they just review games. They do their flaws, and then they do their accomplishments, and it'd just be like compared to both of them. So you get two opinions in one, which I really like. So one guy could have hated the game and given it like a 5 out of 10. The other guy could have given it like a 9 out of 10. I mean, I thought it was kind of good that it was giving critical reviews while giving two sides of the spectrum instead of just having one side of an argument. One thing I had a complaint about that show is they really didn't review games I wanted to get. I mean, they were kind of obscure games. I mean, they did do reviews like Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. They just didn't really do the games I'd be into. But it was still a really great show, and I enjoyed watching it. Next is Arena. I love that show. It was Kevin Pereira's first show, maybe it was one of his earlier shows. He still had the goatee or whatever. Um, when it was basically they'd get teams, they'd have gamers of teams on teams, and they were actually formed teams before they went onto the show. So yeah, and they'd compete in three. They compete in three events. One would be kind of like a console brawler or shooter or whatever. Then they do two um, like PC games. There's usually like an Unreal Tournament and or like a SOCOM or things like that. But I just found that show like really enjoyable. I don't know why. I mean, it was kind of like the earlier MLG kind of Major League Gaming Championship live show showing kind of crap. Except it was on a lot slower scale. I always wanted to be in like one of those shows, but obviously I was younger then, and you have to be 18 to be in that show. I'm not 18; I'm only 16. Um, Next, let's just talk about their anime block. They used to have an anime block. Well, maybe they still do. I mean, but they used to have a Tech TV, and I think it was more of a Tech TV thing. They had the whole anime block, and they had a lot of good anime showing. The two that stand out to me that I can remember right now are Duel, which was kind of it was like a mech, it was like a mecha show. Can't really remember a lot about it, but it was a pretty good show, and I really love the theme song. Um, and the other one that really stood out to me that I remember, and I still don't really get what the hell was going on in it, was Read or Die, the TV series, not the movie. But I really loved that show. It was really good. I don't really know or remember really what it was about either. But yeah, that was really good. I think they showed Evangelion for a while, and they showed some Gundams maybe. But yeah, G4 in general now, as Magus said, it does do a lot of flip flopping. I mean, for a channel that's supposed to be primarily for gaming, I don't see why they're showing things like cheaters and cops. I don't see how that's to do with anything. I really love the Ninja Warrior stuff and Unbeatable Banzuke, which I'm glad that they have that stuff. That's always entertaining. I watch that with my dad sometimes. He surprisingly enjoys that. Um, but yeah, they have some useless shows now. Like you said, cheat. They never do cheats for games that you want usually, and they're really stupid cheats, to be honest, in my opinion. And I don't even think they even make new episodes of that. They show like reruns of it all the time, and it's like games like Halo 2 or Guitar Hero 1. I don't see why they'd keep showing that stuff. Doesn't really make sense to me. Um, what other game shows do they show? I can't really think of any other game shows they show besides AOTS, X-Play, and Cheat. Yeah. Another thing I really do love that they did was the game convention coverage, and well, not only game convention, they the Comic Con, obviously, and stuff like that. I think it's great. Like they just did the Tokyo Game Show coverage, which is really good, even though they don't get as in depth as they used to in the past years. I still think that they did a pretty good job. I only got to see day one, but maybe I'll check those out later. They do the not G4, excuse me, the E3 live coverage, which is always pretty good, except for commercials are like every 5 seconds. They do a lot of the hands-on stuff there, and they report from the floor, which is always good. Even though I don't know, they still don't do like the best job I think with their live coverages of different conventions. Really, the only one that I think they do like a really good job on would have to be Comic Con. Comic Con, they are very loyal to the fans and make sure that they get all the new and upcoming comics as well as the old favorites and try to make sure that all of the spectrum is covered. They get to the comic to movie games, or comic to movies rather, comic to movie games. They do game coverage and stuff like that. They also do some other smaller game conventions. I can't really think of any right now, but yeah, G4 in general, it's really diminished over the past few years, and it's kind of saddening since it used to be at its prime, and it was actually like one of the really good shows out there, or channels out there, and it's just kind of sad to see it go down into things like cheaters and cops and stuff like that. Heroes and Lost, I didn't really comment on because I'm not a fan of either. I mean, I hear they're really good. I'm not a fan just because I haven't really had time to get up to date with all that. I mean, Lost, I don't know, I think they're like on their 6th or 7th season now, and Heroes is on the 3rd. I just haven't had time to get in touch with all those things. But in general, G4 kind of blows now. It used to be in its prime a few years ago. Used to love it. Don't really watch it anymore. So that's my thoughts on G4.